Hey, everybody, welcome back to the 10th floor. It's me, Matt.
Hi, everybody. It's Kat.
And look at that. You can hear us and you can see us simultaneously all at the same
For
time.
real?
For real.
For real?
We're doing
For
it
real?
right from the very beginning.
Oh my gosh! Don't ask for that to happen again, guys.
Don't ask for nothing. Don't ask me for a thing. You are lucky you have audio and visual from the start. And that is it. That is it. Except for the audio people, the people that primarily listen on your podcasting applications, they only get the audio and they never have a problem. They've never had an audio problem with us. Because there's no point in putting up silent air.
There really isn't, is there?
Hey, Elegant.
Hopping off you.
Look at this. All right, so Elegant. Hello, Elegant. First person in the chat this time around. Hi, you guys are the best. Look at that. We're even getting a compliment right away. We haven't even talked about the show at all. Hey,
we didn't even actually get off the elevator yet.
I know. We're still waiting for the elevator to arrive to the first floor so we can tell all the way up to the 10th floor. Hey, Susan Russo. Look at that. We got all kinds of different names in here this time around, unless y'all are tricking us and changing them up. But here you are. Look at us all on the elevator together going all the way up to the 10th floor. We're going to get off. We're going to look to the left, and you can see Elizabeth having a panic attack almost over what's going on in her life. And if you swing over to the right and look at the nurse's station itself, you can see all kinds of characters getting along, talking to each other, sharing stories about yesteryear as they are not presented to us on our screens because they're busy at work. People like Epiphany, we haven't seen Epiphany in a little while. What's going on with Epiphany and Marshall, huh?
I know. They were supposed to be, they went on a date, didn't they?
They sort of went on a lunch to talk about her being a singer for him.
Yeah, and him and he was always bugging her about why she didn't become a doctor. I thought that was weird. Yeah. He just went there too often.
He went there. Well, I think that they're setting up this background story for Epiphany where she stops being a nurse and pursues her original dream of being a doctor.
I would love that. That would mean that we would have Epiphany on the screen more often.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I am a Sonia Eddy fan. I like her a lot.
This chat is loading.
She used to be able.
Sorry.
She used to be able to tell Jason off in a hot minute, didn't she?
Epiphany
she would make him just shut. She would just make him shut his mouth.
Right. I mean, what is he? He got stabbed by Sean and then left jail, right? And was in the bed recovering so he can escape and help Carly. And Epiphany was like, listen, I can see what's going on here. And then there was another time like he got shot or something, and Sonny was like, oh no, what are we gonna do? You're gonna die unless we can save your life. And and then they went and they grabbed Epiphany because we could trust her. We trusted her with stuff like this before. We're gonna trust her with it again. That's my Sonny impression for people who don't know.
Well, it sounds just like him. And that was when he was in a safe house, wasn't he? And Epiphany even knows where the safe houses are.
Yeah, a couple of them, for sure.
She's damn near part of that organization.
Hey, Christy. Hey, Wendy. And hey, oh no, it's not Jacarius, because that's how I've always been saying it. So it's the other way that I can't recall because it's been 7 days and I'm sorry.
We can't remember a gosh darn thing.
When it comes to, and I want to be a respectful person. So, just hello. Hello, Jay. So, we're here. What were we talking about? We were talking about Epiphany, and Epiphany's great, and she used to be a contract member of the cast, and I'd love to see that again. Because sometimes I think you need somebody. I don't know what's going on because they got like Phyllis, who moved into town and then like went on a 6-week-long vacation or something. Where's Phyllis? You need these. You need these people who can sit down your major poor decision makers and be like, what are you doing? You need Diane, yes. Epiphany, Phyllis, Olivia Falconieri?
Yeah. Hey, you know what, Matt? This past week, we saw the scene that Alondria told us about when she was on our show. We saw the scene this past week that she was referring to.
Yeah,
because we asked her, who were you last on set with? And she said, Alexis and Diane.
Yes.
Were in the scene. She said, I didn't have a spoken part that particular day, but I was there. And they did show her. She could see her occasionally. But that must have been what she was referring to when she was on the show, because she did mention that scene.
Yes.
And I remember thinking, well, that's weird. I've never seen Diane and Alexis in the Savoy.
Well,
but now we have.
Now they're drinking, they're talking as friends. I mean, I can't think of a hip and modern nightclub as a better setting for a private, intimate conversation about men.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not a good venue for it. It's very loud.
No, it's too loud. Even most restaurants are too loud now.
All right.
Yeah,
I mean, most restaurants are very, very loud. I mean, let's see. When I went to IHOP the other day, they got like these cupcake pancakes where if you don't get the icing and just have like the sprinkles in it, that's actually pretty good. And it wasn't the music that got to me; it was all of the unmasked people coughing all over their food that really got to me.
Oh,
but hey,
okay.
Whatever it is. Happy Sunday, Keisha. Welcome to the show. And Christy, thank you for coming. First time listener here with us. Hey, Christy.
Hey. Well, you're going to get an earful.
Yeah, I don't know how much of the actual podcast you've listened. I mean, I guess first time listener, so therefore you've never been involved in the conversation before. I remember following you recently on Twitter. You were trying to get people to join your campaign so Chase can do a cameo for everybody. I hope you're able to be successful with that. And after that, convince him to guest here on the 10th floor. Let's get off of GH for a second. Let's talk about Vincent Irzera. I can't pronounce his last name, even though he's one of my favorite soap actors of all time.
Yeah, I never remember how to say it.
Vincent Irzera, something like that. He played Dr. David Hayward on General Hospital on All My Children.
Did.
And if you guys,
he was just recently on Maurice's podcast, right?
It's either been within the last couple of weeks or is coming very soon. He's on it.
It's coming very soon, but they recorded it about a month ago. They recorded it
before, right? And Dr. David Hayward is a very popular character here on the 10th floor because we really dream of his resurrection juice, just bringing all kinds of people back to life. But a real life, bona fide human hero in real life, Vincent Irzera is, because he ran out and he saved this person. I mean, this was months ago, too. This was in like December of last year, where he saw somebody getting assaulted and he intervened. He was a good Samaritan.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Something was going on with some person, and he intervened and got and won the fight, but got slammed to the floor very, 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 very hard and banged his head super hard. Had to go to the hospital and get some surgery to have some.
Got assaulted.
Okay. Judy says it's today. His episode's on today.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he got the severe injury and had to go to the hospital and have some surgery at that point. And they thought everything was cool, but here we are a couple of months later, and the swelling and the liquid in the brain has returned. And so they had to drain it one more time.
He must have had a real severe concussion.
It must have been a terrible injury, and I'm honestly surprised that I didn't even know that this had happened. I felt like it would have been news before, and maybe it wasn't. I just missed it.
Maybe.
So
well, thank goodness he's going to be all right.
Yeah. So he's already tweeted. His people have been like, all right, so successful, everything's fine. He's going to be great. It was a sad emergency surgery after a tragic, heroic moment. It was just what a soap thing to happen to somebody in real life.
Yeah.
Not only do you have injuries after being a good Samaritan, but then you have them come back to haunt you again a couple of months later.
It is soapy, isn't it? Well, I'm really proud of him for intervening, really, because so many people in the world will just like pretend they're not seeing something.
It's tough. I mean, and all of those things are made of decisions that you're not even conscious of. You're either someone who's gonna or someone who's not, and there's no amount of being like thinking that you could do to really push yourself through that. I mean, there's training that you can get, like you go to the army and they're going to train you to be somebody that jumps in there. But naturally, just somebody, you're either going to be a fight, a flight, or a freeze. I'm a freeze person. I'm somebody who will stand there and just not move.
Oh, I don't really know which one I am.
I don't know.
Honestly.
Hey, Daisy, the convention is next week. I
know the convention is next week. You guys, oh my God. Ooh, just cannot wait. Y'all, you don't know how crazy I am about going to this thing. I want to go so stinking bad. I am fanning out.
All right. So next week we got the General Hospital Convention over here in Burbank, California. Sunny Burbank, for those people who like to watch that one show on Netflix. Anyway, so the official General Hospital Convention is going on, and there's all kinds of the actors from the show are going to be there. Now this cast is constantly fluctuating. We either gonna get them or we're gonna go, and we're gonna find out on the weekend. But
it is fluctuating quite a bit, isn't it?
Yeah. There's pictures, there's autographs, there's meet and greets and music and karaoke and all kinds of nonsense and set tours and just fun things that has been
3 days
postponed for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So not only
we bought these tickets 2.5 years ago.
So we got these before we even started doing the podcast, and we're like, wouldn't it be neat?
I think, didn't we buy those tickets like at the end of 2019?
Something like that.
And we were supposed to go in
just
May
a couple of months. Yeah.
Of 2020.
Yeah,
that was the first date that we were supposed to go, and then it got postponed.
And then it got postponed. Yeah.
And postponed.
Right. And postponed. So not only is there the anticipation from that original, purchasing of the tickets from 2 years ago, but 2 years of not this year, to add on to that excitement. And so here we are next week. Who knows? I'm going to have my phone. We're going to have the camera. We're going to have some microphones. Who knows I can't promise anything because I don't know. But who knows what's going to happen?
We're going to try, though, you guys. We're going to go survey. We're going to try.
And it is a very expensive thing. And the only reason we're able to do this is because we already live in California. If it wasn't for the fact that we were already in the state of California, this would not be happening.
And you guys, Matthew lives literally 5 minutes from the place.
Yeah, more like 15, 20, but yeah.
Yeah, but pretty dang close.
Yeah, I mean,
when we purchased the tickets, you were still here with me. You were still living here.
Yeah. I mean, I've only been down here for 1 year and 3 months.
Yeah. So it's easy for me. I'm going to just drive down there.
Yeah. And I'm just going to wake up in the morning and roll out of my bed and just head over.
Yeah. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
So we're definitely going to do our best to get some sort of special something going on. And we've got this whole YouTube channel now. Might as well take advantage of it with some sort of fun video. I don't know. I mean, I can't guarantee I'm going to be able to corner Cynthia Watros or anything, but that would be super fun. I doubt that I'm going to, let me just be real. I doubt I'm going to be able to corner anybody that's actually on the show. Just to set expectation. But hey, cameras in my face, cameras in Ma's face, interviews with other fans. I don't know.
Yeah.
Of course you're not going, JLJ. We know you're not going. You don't got time for that kind of stuff. That's for us newbies. You experienced people don't need to do that anymore. But if you want to come have lunch with us, James Lott Jr., my mom wants to meet you.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Anyway. Absolutely. Do my impressions while in there. Oh, I don't know, Wendy. I don't know if I could go up to Lisa Lo Cicero and be like, oh, yo, Lisa Lo Cicero, what's going on? I feel like it would just be kind of mean. But
well, let's see who you can. I don't know. Who can you get by with?
Hello,
I don't know.
It's good to see you again, my boy.
He ain't gonna be there.
I know.
He ain't gonna be there. Oh, that would be. But Maurice is gonna be there. Yeah. I would hope that he would appreciate. I don't
know.
I would hope. I would hope that he would appreciate it.
So we got new moss in the Corinthos family set because Maurice Bernard is not doing kitchen scenes anymore. Maurice Bernard is the reason they got rid of the moss because he was jealous of the moss. I don't know if I can do the Sunny impression in front of Maurice Bernard without him going, I don't know, man. I think that just might not be the right thing to get him out of here. He tweeted, hey, the moss is, everybody's talking about the moss rather than the scene that I'm in. And so they stopped doing the moss. Did you know that? Oh, thanks, JLJ. You didn't know that. I know that. I learned that this week.
Really?
Yeah, because the moss is back and that's a big deal.
I did, but what the heck is anyone there with it? What is that?
I don't know, beach stuff. It's like they tried to drown the moss, and then the moss came back to shore like Swamp Thing, crawled back into the bowl, and went back to the kitchen.
Well, I saw a ball of, not a bowl of moss, but it was like a rectangular thing at Sam's place, wasn't it? There wasn't some kind of mossy thing at Sam's
place.
The
sticks that were on Sam's mantle, and then there's the bowl of moss that's on the Corinthos dining table, and then I'm sure someone has like a rock garden out there, maybe the Corinthos rock garden or something, and all of those things came together to make one new piece of art. And that is now front and center when Jocelyn confesses the fact that she accidentally has a sex tape.
Yeah. I know that a lot of people aren't digging on Carly that much, but I tell you what, you guys, I can't wait for Carly to get into that Esme. Ooh, girl.
If they were to pick one way or the other when it comes to Carly, I think people would like it a lot more. If she was the person where, you end Friday as she's about to tear into someone, right? Like we got this week. And people and that's the character, like that's something to be excited about. What's Carly going to say to this woman this week? My God. But then the rest of the time is filled with like her being just like, Nina, how dare you hang out with my ex-husband that I divorced already? What are you doing here? Like, pick one. We can't have like badass Carly where you can't wait to hear what she has to say, and also like annoying Carly, please get off of my screen. What are you doing? Unless you want both. You want both? You can have both. I'm not here to take nothing away from you.
I like Carly. I can't help it. When it comes to all those chicks on there, Carly's I'm the most like Carly.
You do like to throw a party, that's for sure.
I do love to throw a party, and you mess with one of my babies, I'm going to get you.
This week there was a question on Twitter. Hey, how come Carly is more involved in telling Michael what to do than Jocelyn? And I think that's an inaccurate representation there. I think that Carly might be a little more likely to tell Michael to his face what she thinks he should do, but also at the same time, the first time she locked eyes on Miss Esme after finding out this information, oh boom, is it on? So, yeah, I think she's pretty equal opportunity when it comes to people who are standing up against her kids.
Yeah. So when are we gonna, we have not seen Michaela's last air date, have we?
No, I think it's the 17th.
Oh.
Yeah, you're right, Daisy. Carly already is in Nina's head. Nina only thinks about how Carly's going to react to stuff. Thursday the 17th, I believe, is Sydney Michaela's last day as Trina Robinson. And then a couple of weeks later, we're going to have the new person.
Do you remember, Matt, on All My Children, that one scene where it was Babe comes into a hug with her mom?
Yeah, and then it comes out and it's the other actress.
And they came out and it's the other one? I thought that was so cool.
That was cool. That was one of the better transitions they've done in soap years. Hey, the Bariatric Bachelor. Welcome to the show. I'm glad you finally are able to make it to watch. Oh gosh. Hey,
welcome.
So maybe we'll get like the hug. No, we're not going to get that. We're going to get a couple of days in between the two actors. That's just GH's style, just the new person's going to saunter on.
Yeah.
The role of Harmony will be played temporarily by this other person.
They didn't do that.
They did for Harmony.
They did
for Harmony, yeah. The role of Harmony Miller will be temporarily played by Susan Sarandon, or whoever that person was.
That girl that played Harmony for that one day, she looks familiar to me. I've seen her on something, but I cannot place what it is.
I don't know what it is, but she is a soap veteran, so I guess she's been on soaps before. I mean, you could do 2 weeks of a soap and then be called a soap veteran, so.
That's true. That's true.
So she's probably been on, Guiding Lights, Young and the Restless and Beautiful and stuff. I don't know. Guiding the Young, Restless and Beautiful.
She looks familiar to me. I've seen her on something. But I don't know. It was good. It was good. It was fine. Harmony didn't have a whole lot to say that day, it seemed. So,
Yeah, it was fine. It was fine. I mean, there wasn't a lot to. It was more, I think, setting up what Alexis and Diane were talking about more than a Harmony contribution to stuff.
Yeah. And Diane was disappointed when she found out Harmony was coming too. She's like, okay.
Hey, but the drinks are on me. Sparkling water for you.
And
then Michael's got to interrupt and be like, hey, Nina's trying to steal my son. No.
Oh, and she goes and tells and she goes into Nina goes and tells Sonny what her intentions are about, pressing, trying to get some visitations legally, trying to get some visitation with her grandson, and Sonny talked her out of it. Give me some time.
Give me a little bit of time. I can figure this out for you, baby. All right, this is my boy. This is my boy. He's not really my boy, but it's my boy. And I raised him. He calls me dad. Unless he's too mad at me, and then he calls me Sonny.
He's been mad at him before, a year or so at a time.
When I thought my dad when my dad killed AJ, I stole his daughter. How does Michael get custody of Avery over Ava? What?
Yeah, yeah.
No, that was some sort of wackadoodle soap nonsense. Chad, I need you to talk to
me about that. Do you remember that?
Because I missed it entirely.
Really?
I didn't watch any of that. I know that it happened, but I didn't actually ever see any of it. I went back during our YouTube crawl a year ago. Is when we watched, Sonny shoot AJ and Michael hold the gun.
Yeah.
But the aftermath of him raising Avery for a little while and stuff, I didn't see any of that. I came back on board at pretty much the episode where Nell pretended to sleep with Sonny.
And left the bra on the bed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, Ava was presumed dead at the time, according to the bariatric bachelor.
Oh.
I don't know nothing. There was a big gap of time that I missed of General Hospital.
Well,
but that's all right.
And you guys, you can't count on us to even remember what we talked about last week on here. Shoot, we're terrible.
I can't even remember what happened this Wednesday on General Hospital. The only way I get through is these really terribly scribbled. Look, you can't even read that. Luckily, I can, because I've been reading my own handwriting my whole life.
Well, speaking of Wednesday, though,
yeah,
this past Wednesday was a great episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember what happened on Wednesday. Was it, let's see, Anna said something. Unless Cyrus Renault was on the show, I just don't remember it.
No, it was good stuff. It was good stuff with Esme and her.
Oh, that was Ryan Esme Day.
Yes, that was Ryan Esme Day.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. What's up with that, you guys?
Let's do it. Let's talk about it. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. You ready to talk about it? Because I'm ready to talk about it. Hey,
okay.
Is the chat working? Nobody's talking in the chat. I just want to make sure the chat's working. That's all. You guys don't have to chat. I just want to make sure it's working. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we're talking about Ryan and Esme, okay? And we have to decide here on the 10th floor right now. What the hell?
Yeah, what is it?
What is
it? You know what is?
Okay, I do not believe.
Okay, all right. You tell me what you think,
okay,
Matt.
I do not believe that Ryan is Esme's actual father. Not unless Daytime is getting real experimental real quick for the network to pull the plug on it in about 3 days. I cannot imagine ABC Disney at 2:00 in the afternoon being okay with legitimate daddy-daughter love.
Oh, I don't think it's like that.
However,
I just think it's odd, but I don't think it's like that.
Daddy, like it when I call you daddy, like it's too much.
Well, it was weird. I thought it was weird the way she rubbed his hand. I thought that was a little weird.
It was a little weird. Now here's the thing. Here's the thing. All right. We have to remember that Ryan is freaking crazy. Okay.
He's crazy as loon.
We have to keep in mind that Esme is flipping nuts. All right.
Mm-hmm.
We got freaking crazy and flipping nuts. Okay. Side by side with each other.
So you don't think
Esme's never had a traditional family? She was adopted, all that kind of blah, 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 blah. She probably killed her adoptive parents, yada, yada. She's always wanted to have a family, the love of family. Mm-hmm. And her creepy ass has worshipped crazy ass Ryan for so long that she has been like, maybe he can just be my dad.
So you think he's more of a kooky mentor?
I think that he's a kooky mentor who has worked out some sort of thing like, yeah, you're going to be my daughter. Yeah, I'll just pretend you're my daughter. Like fully real and understanding that they are not father and daughter, but just from here on out, once I'm with Ava,
Mm-hmm.
We will be your parents.
Well, he could, he's crazy and he's very manipulative. He's always has been. So he's crazy as a loon. Yeah. Man.
Now that is my very hopeful theory as to what's going on here on General Hospital when it comes to Esme and Ryan, because oh my goodness gracious, was that hard to read and interpret?
It was weird. It was weird, but very entertaining.
But very entertaining, and boy, oh boy, did it get people talking. And whether you like it or not, folks, the more you talk about the soap opera, the longer it's going to be on television. Whether or not you sit there saying it's wonderful or you hate it, the fact that you're talking about it is going to keep it on TV. So, a good job, writers, and good job, fans, for not knowing what to do with that. And making it fun, too. Like, there's been stuff where you guys don't like, and it's not fun, but you made that fun. So, thank you very much, Twitter.
Yeah, it was interesting. I can't wait to see what happens. And I just love John Lindstrom when he gets to be Ryan. Oh,
it's good stuff.
It's good stuff.
Oh, it's good stuff. Ugh, he's actually worse than Shiloh. Maybe
he's actually worse than Shiloh.
Well,
I think
Ryan's
so.
deliberately and directly killed more people than Shiloh did. That's for sure. I don't know. We need more details. More details. And I saw this other theory online, which I don't think it's too smart. It's too smart, okay, for it to be GH, which is unfortunate for me to say. But they were saying that all of this stuff that's happening with Ryan is actually in Esme's head and isn't really going on.
Oh, like he's really locked in?
Like he's really locked in and she's just imagining him talking to her, which I think is really fun, but I think it's not quite the style that General Hospital is bringing us recently.
I don't think it's quite the style GH has brought us recently either. I think he's actually speaking. I don't think he's ever been locked in.
Maybe for a minute.
Maybe for a minute.
But then again, Ava like dug her fingernails into his thigh and stuff, and his eyes were like, just for a second,
Just for a second,
and then there was like that little half smile that he did that one time. So he's just really good at pretending. He's really good at tricking doctors because Ryan Chamberlain is a doctor himself. Remember that, folks.
He sure is.
That's how he was able to cut his own hand off and be all right.
Yeah.
I mean, they just dangled the sleeve over John Lindstrom's real hand, and it's really obvious. But hey, I'm not here to judge. Not here to judge. I was thinking Vince Russo became one of the writers. That's a wrestling reference for you folks. Vince Russo was responsible for The Rock and D-Generation X and all that kind of stuff. And you know what, Bariatric Bachelor, you might be right because we are getting into the Attitude Era of General Hospital at the moment with sex tapes. Hey, Maurice Bernard said on Twitter that Mobster Sonny's coming back.
Mobster Sonny's coming back. Well, you know why? You know why I think he's coming back? Because Selena Wu's coming back.
Yeah. Selena Wu, she's going to pull the trigger on whatever she's been trying to build up for the last year.
Yep.
I'm going to earn your trust here for a moment so I can rip the rug out right from under you when I kill Spinelli.
Oh, my God.
Spinelli's going to be deleting the last video of Cameron and Jocelyn off the internet, and somebody's going to put some piano wire around his neck.
I had been saying from the get-go when this whole sex tape thing called Spinelli, you take it down.
Carly did. Nina won't like Sonny returning to the mob. Well, he never left the mob. He's just not being a mobster at the moment. I don't know. Nina's pretty crazy herself, all right? Nina has cut babies out of people's wombs. All right, remember that. And then Jacarius actually likes somebody on the show, Ma. Jacarius likes Selena Wu.
She is interesting. She's hard as a rock, isn't she?
Oh, she sure is.
Hard as a rock.
She sure is. And she's got something going on with Brad. All right, Brad.
Well, she is. She's decided Brad is her little puppet.
And like this stuff with Victor's heating
and
up
he's
too.
Scared to death of her.
Ooh, what's gonna happen, Ma? Is there gonna be a big story coming? Is there a big multi-character story coming?
I think there's a big old gangster story coming.
Big gangster story coming.
Big gangster story coming. I do. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Look, I like Selena Wu. I like her character. She's hard as rock. boy, oh boy, and callous. Don't give a damn.
She did blow up the. She was just like, hey, there's a bomb. Why don't you move it to the other car and just take those two guys out, huh? Novak. Hey, then my Uncle Novak, he got blown up. What the hell?
And hopefully Cyrus comes back to town too. I want him to be in that gangster mix.
Can you imagine? There's some sort of there's something, like Woo's got a gun, and like Sonny's got a gun, and Drew has a gun, and Michael has a gun, and Willow's got a gun, and Chase has a gun.
Willow's got a gun.
And Brad's got a gun, right? And then like Brando's got a gun, and then everybody's got a gun, right? And they're about to shoot each other, right? Because you don't know who's on whose side, right? And then just the boots. You can hear them. And then you see the boots walking and walks in the middle of the thing. And when it goes up, it's Cyrus Renaud dressed like a preacher man. And he's holding the Bible and goes, gentlemen, ladies, this isn't the way to do it. Violence is not the answer. Just turn the other cheek. Yes.
And come to my tent revival and learn how, right?
Oh, my Lord, 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 Lord. Oh, my Lord, 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 Lord.
Matthew, we need to stop. We're going to go to hell and keep on doing that.
What?
Come
No,
on now.
come on. It's going to be super fun. Maybe Marshall has something to do with it. Absolutely, Irma. Marshall is so entrenched into crime. When Cyrus comes back to town, he might immediately recognize Marshall. I don't know exactly what's going to be happening with that.
Oh, I think there's got to be some good backstory to Marshall that we don't know about yet. They've just made him so secretive and so, non-share. There's got to be like all kinds of stuff. There's got to be. He's got to be hiding something. What's the point of all this if he's not hiding something juicy?
I think Willow would shoot Nina. Maybe Daisy, maybe. And then Elegant says, well said, Cat. So maybe, I don't know exactly what that's in reference to, but I'm going to guess it's that you saying we're going to go to hell. So, we can move off of that. And we can talk about somebody who is going to hell, like Jake Weber. That little devil child.
So you think Jake's up to something?
I don't know if Jake is up to something.
I don't know.
think Jake is up to something. And if he is up to something, he doesn't know that he's up to something. Maybe he saw a flash, a card. Yes, Elegant. Yes, we are going to hell. So let's move on. I think that Jake, unless Jake was shown a tarot card and didn't realize it, or Victor flashed one to him and they didn't know and triggered him in some way, I don't think that Jake is necessarily up to something.
So you think he's being manipulated in some way? I could see that.
He might be manipulated. He might just be, it could be a different side of the story where Jake is like the one in the Weber family that gets accused of stuff, even though he's not the one that does things, because he had troubles and your dad's dead and we're just assuming that you're going to be the bad apple. But really it's Aiden the whole time. I don't know.
And he's was underneath, he was, on an island, right? And Helena,
he mentioned
Helena had a hold of him.
He mentioned it Friday. He goes, "Listen, I know that it's different when I came back from Cassadine Island, but I was a kid then." Mm-hmm. And it was 5 years ago, so it wasn't that long ago.
It was a while ago. But it was a while ago. And that 5 year span he's talking about, it's a big transition when you're that age. You're not the same person when you're 8 and then you're 13. That's a whole different individual.
That's true, because then you start talking like this.
And you just start thinking different. You just, you put down your toys.
Daisy says that Aiden is in the attic, and I just got this flash in my brain of Aiden making an impression in soap of a key. So he can whittle one out of wood and escape like flowers in the attic.
Yeah, he's up there in the attic. He's stuck with that oldest Martin kid, from All My Children. Went up to the attic, never came down.
That's where Graham is. That's where Elizabeth Grandma is right now, is in the attic.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. Helena did kidnap Jake. I understand that of the Weber children, Jake is the most likely to have some sort of psychological problem, blah, blah, blah. And maybe we're going to get Andre Maddox back for a scene or two, because that would be cool.
And maybe he's going to be triggered in some way.
Maybe
he'll be triggered in some way.
Maybe everybody's got just multiple layers of programming.
So they can't trigger Drew, so maybe they'll trigger this kid instead.
Yeah, you'd be like, hey, Jake, go kill that guy.
Yeah, but I'll be disappointed though. I'll be disappointed if Elizabeth doesn't have an altar. I just want her to have an altar.
Oh no, it's got to be. It's not Jake. Jake isn't doing this stuff. How is he going to haul that giant painting that's bigger than him back to the house when he can't even drive? No.
Right.
No. I'm with you, Jakarius. I still believe that Liz is responsible for this herself.
I think so too. I can't wait for it.
Now, but then, Jake's going to have to be like, I'm going to go live with my dad. Oh, well, I can't. I'm going to go live with Sam.
And she and Finn need, they don't have chemistry. I don't like them on there. I did at the beginning. They were okay. Like when, around the time where, when they threw Peter down the stairs, he threw Peter down the stairs, there was more of a Finn Elizabeth kind of thing going on that I was on board for. But it's just kind of lost its,
danger boners.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
ever since Scotty fell in there camping, for Finn and Liz. Yeah, Scotty. Yeah.
I'm scared of you, Lizzie, Fizz, if you will. Yeah, they're fine. I struggle, because there's all kinds of terms that I have to learn now that I'm so staunchly entrenched in GH fandom and people and the different things that they say. This person's propping this person, and this is an agenda ship, and all kinds of stuff that I never, ever, ever thought.
I don't know what that stuff is.
And see, I don't really quite understand it myself either. Propping is being like a prop to someone else. It's something they talk about Elizabeth a lot. Why are you propping this person? Why are you propping this person? Why are you propping this person? As if Elizabeth has an agency of her own, and she's just being pulled around by other characters all the time.
And she's just being pushing other storylines.
Right. She's involved in someone else's thing, but doesn't have her own thing. Therefore, she's a human prop rather than a story-driving person. Well,
that's why I wanted her to have an altar so bad, because I think that Rebecca is a wonderful actress, and I don't, they just have her just jumping from running and doing doubles at the hospital and thinking about what boy she likes next. Let's have her do something else.
It's been her MO for quite some time. Yeah. And people are in a total agreement, which is why we're so excited over Biz being a real person. Come on, Biz.
Come on, Biz. Come on, Biz.
As it turns out, Biz lives in the attic, and Elizabeth and Biz have been sharing Elizabeth's life as identical twins. Elizabeth has Monday and Tuesday. Biz has Wednesday and Thursday, and they trade off Friday. Now, that would be something. Just get some real soapy dopey stuff, Let's stop with this real world on TV. This isn't Law and Order SVU, okay? Let's try to freeze the city, okay? Let's try to freeze the city, okay? Let's continue to program people to do bad things with tarot cards.
Yeah.
Let us continue to digitally download people's memories onto flash drives. Come on, soap.
All this soapy nonsense.
Soap it all up.
Soap it up.
If it is not slick and sudsy, I don't want it.
So sudsy.
But the Ice Princess is gone. Luke might not be dead. Felicia and Anna are on the case. It's gonna be cool. Operation Centrum Silver is still in full effect.
Oh, I love that scene too.
I don't think you should be going on this adventure, Felicia. But then I couldn't stop you, and you did stop Peter. So what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna sit here and be a supportive husband.
Yeah.
And I don't. Did you hear the Aussie come out of Mac a little bit in that scene toward the end? Because I did.
I didn't pay attention.
It was very quick. Like, I don't even remember what the line was, but it was like, okay, I'm going to let you go. But it was like, okay, I'm going to let you go.
Oh, he sounded a little bit like he used to?
Yeah.
Long time ago.
It was like just after Robert had said something, so maybe that has something to do with it, where he just can't just be around that Australian accent without it coming back out again. Because, my God, I know that Jax, Ingo Rademacher, by the end of his run, before he was unceremoniously fired from General Hospital for not getting a vaccination. I just like to talk hard, okay? I'm sorry. Because his accent has faded, but it is not gone.
Right.
Like Max is.
Yeah. And Roberts has faded, but it's not gone. Hasn't faded as much.
Jeez, how thick must it used to be then? Because he still
It was really thick before.
He's incredibly Australian still.
He used to sound like, he sounded very Australian before. He was kind of like Joey Novak. I mean, that was an accent that was very, very strong, right? Joey Novak.
Yeah, just you literally picked me up from Brooklyn, and dumped me right here in Los Angeles in front of the soundstage.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Mac got his citizenship, but he is not originally American. Is the actor's John J. York American, and he was putting on an accent before?
I should know that, but I don't.
I don't know. I'm going to look it up right now. You keep talking.
He's sure been on there a long, long time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, he was in Playgirl. Oh no, John J. York.
He was on. Yeah, but on Playgirl, they always, they got something.
They didn't show no dinglings.
No, they don't show no nuggets or nothing. No.
York was born in Chicago, Illinois. Oh my gosh.
Steve Burton was in Playgirl too.
Was he really? So was Shawn Michaels from wrestling. Okay. York was born in Chicago, Illinois, where he attended Brother Rice Christian Brothers High School. Brother Rice Christian Brothers High School. Interesting. Second longest running role after Dynasty was look at that, Ma. He must have been putting on an accent before.
He must have been.
Look at that. Well, thank you very much, Daisy, for ruining the fantasy that I had in my head my entire life. By letting me know that John J. York is super American.
Super American. Well,
I'm really disappointed now. Like, I'm truly disappointed, honestly.
Really? I feel like we've been jumping all over, extra jumpy today.
We have been.
Super, super jumpy.
It's your fault.
What I really liked that scene with Jocelyn and Carly, though. When they were sitting on the floor.
They were sitting on the floor. I don't remember that.
Yeah,
there was a portion where I was listening to it, but not actually watching it. So maybe they were sitting on the floor when I was.
They were sitting on the floor in the kitchen.
Yeah. Okay. Just chit-chatting about life.
Yeah, having a heart-to-heart about all that nonsense going on.
Everybody in the world has seen that. No. Everybody in the world has the potential to see this. Okay, but not everyone in the world has. And then Cameron had a nice moment too, because Cameron talked about something that I talked about last week, and Elizabeth's response was pretty much the same as yours.
What was that?
Well, he was like, "Oh man, this sucks that it's it's kind of the opposite, whatever." Anyway, because he's like, this sucks for Jocelyn," and then Elizabeth's all like, "Yeah, it sucks for you too, dude." And he's like, yeah, but I'm getting people giving me like digital high fives, and everyone was calling her a little.
Yes, you're right. I did think about that. Yes, because it's just the truth. It's just yes, you're going to get a digital high five. Oh, you got in that, blah blah blah, all that. And then the girl, it's like, well, you a stinky hoe. Really?
Oh man, it's hard being a woman, isn't it? It's just a challenge and a half.
Well, sure. It is. But there's challenges of being a man too. It's different.
Yeah. I mean, what do you do as Cameron? Do you be like, yeah, I'm the man, rah, 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 or do you be like, oh man, you guys are being jerks, and then you lose all your friends? Like, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? I mean,
I would say you do the latter.
Boy Meets World was faced with the same problem in 1996. Okay, just without the internet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you know what's it's surprising too, it seems to me, I may be off base because I'm certainly not a young adult any longer. But it seems like a lot of folks, they could have a sex tape out there, whether it was meant to be or not, and they wouldn't care.
Yeah. I mean, there's people that put this stuff out on their own now to make $5 a month per person on OnlyFans and such. It's gotten to a point where it is so prevalent to find people on the internet that it has become, in my opinion, like less shocking, surprising, and problematic. Because there are certain corners of Twitter that I never want you to go to. That just
I don't ever want to be there.
Just every random normal person on the planet just just throwing their stuff out there for consumption, for attention, for a little bit of money, for a tip, for, whatever,
well, what? I'm not trying to judge people, okay?
Right. People got to do what they got to do.
It's just, what?
One of our profession, right?
It sure is. One of our friends, Matthew, made me think of this. One of our friends recently said on Facebook that the gas prices have got to go down because I don't have the body for OnlyFans.
Yeah, there you go.
One of our mutual friends, actually.
Lissa's got a very important question I think we need to address. She's wondering why it's so scandalous that Cameron and Jocelyn have slept together. And it's not the scandal that Cameron and Jocelyn have boned. They have known each other their whole lives. They like each other genuinely. Like, if there's two people for each other to lose their V cards to, it's fine. The problem is the fact that the whole world saw it without their permission. And the main thing is without their permission.
Without their permission. It was not their choice to have that out there. It was not.
It
wasn't even their choice to film it. Means lots of folks film their own escapades without letting other people see it.
Without wanting other people to see it, without planning on sharing it with anybody, and did it.
Yes, and they didn't even do that. They didn't even film it on purpose.
Right. So, can I say that the reaction that the show is having toward this is realistic? I can't say, because there's no, it's, when you're raising kids, right? And they're always like, you don't understand my life, Mom. And before, like when it came to like your life versus my life, you could generally understand what I was going through, because while we might have cordless phones and more efficient gas on vehicles, life was essentially the same. Essentially.
Yeah.
A little more dangerous for me to be out past the street lights than it was for you, but there was no online world to navigate.
No.
There wasn't a whole new way for people to relate to each other and talk to each other and be mean to each other between the 70s and the 90s versus the 90s and today.
Yeah. I think the internet and media has made all the difference in the world. There was a lot of things going on back in the day that you just didn't talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Guilt and shame kept your mouth shut back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay? There's crazy things that happened to me in the 70s, or things that people tried to do me in the 70s. I had a neighbor try to get me.
Uh-huh.
I had somebody try to pick me up off the street and scare the crap out of me. I did. When I was a kid, I was 9 years old. Okay, you guys, when I was 9 years old in 1970, that crazy crap happened. But you just kind of kept it under your hat. It's
harder to do that now. Harder to do that now.
And I think children were a little easier manipulated then, and parents weren't encouraging you to tell them everything that's going on, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they weren't necessarily having that stranger danger talk as readily as today.
Now we are.
Now we are. But it wasn't because that crap wasn't happening.
No, yeah, it's what do they call it? They call it survivor's bias, where, everybody's going like, I drank out of a hose, I rode in the back of the pickup truck, I didn't wear a seatbelt, and I turned out perfectly fine. That's a survivor's bias, because yes, you are perfectly fine. But how about the other dozens and hundreds of people who weren't fine because of this? Dara and Elegant both are totally on your side when it comes to all of this. So thank you very much. And Dara, thank you for the contribution.
Well, Dara, let me tell you real quick. I mean, it's kind of not negative, but I'll tell you real quick. Okay, I have myself a daddy, all right? My dad, Anyway, I ran home and I told my dad about that neighbor trying to get me. My dad went over there and whipped his ass hard. And you know what? A week later, they had a U-Haul in front of that place. They moved out. My dad beat the tar out of him. He didn't even say nothing first. Didn't even say anything.
And yet
he knocked
again,
on the door.
Another generational gap.
Yeah, he knocked on the door of this fool's house, grabbed him by his collar. As soon as the guy said, "Hey, Al, what's going on?" He grabbed this guy by the collar, pulled him out of this house, bounced him off the pavement 4 or 5 times, stood him up on his feet and said, "Don't you ever touch my daughter again. Don't you ever talk to my daughter again. Next time I will kill you."
Wow, you sounded just like him. Don't you ever talk to my daughter again.
And just like that, it was crazy.
Oh,
but anyway, that's
Grandpa
what happened.
Al and his NASCAR voice.
Yeah.
Oh man, Dara,
Well,
totally into it.
And you know what, you guys, that's why I'm a California native. I don't sound like a California native. I know it's because I was raised by the crazy ass Texans. Okay. And that's why I sound country. I know, but I'm actually been here my whole life in California.
It's just the influence of my
it's
grandparents.
The influence.
Yes. My grandparents. Let's catch up with chat here. Let's see, because chat was going on about the show while we were talking about our personal lives. So let's see. John J. York was faking, but Tristan Rogers is not. See, I'm really disappointed that John J. York is not actually Australian. It's good that he abandoned the accent because I guess it wasn't very good to begin with. Lovelessa still is confused as to why this is such a big deal for Cameron and Jocelyn. And Jocelyn should spin this off to a lingerie line and just own her sexuality from this point. I mean, that's one way to deal with it. If you could own it or you can fight it. And I guess they're going fighting it. I don't know.
Well, I don't want her to own it on. Come on, we got a Kardashian family already. We don't need Joss for this.
And that's funny too, because they say in here, Daisy Flower says Joss is not a Kardashian. And Elegant,
see, we thinking alike.
Ma Elegant says that you're just like Gidget.
Just like Gidget.
I've only heard Gidget as like a nickname for somebody. Get over here, Gidget. But I don't even really know what the original reference really is.
Gidget was on TV. Well,
I guess it was a TV
there was
show?
movies.
I mean, was it?
Yeah, Sally Field.
Was it
Sally
Sally
Field with Gidget.
Okay.
Yeah, Sally Field with
the
Gidget.
Flying Nun, Gidget.
She was
Mrs.
Gidget first. And then she was something else too.
Steel Magnolias.
Yeah.
Brooklyn and Chase still love each other.
They sure do.
Yeah.
And they gave him a little montage of sweetness, didn't they?
It was like a long montage too. That thing was like at least a minute and a half, 2 minutes long. Like it was their whole tale since she came back pregnant.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was good, but I thought it was interesting that they, the relationship is somewhat new, and to spin that montage, for something that's somewhat new, I thought they spent a lot of time on it. That was obviously they realized the fans really loved the two of them together.
Oh, I mean, this has been the goal since she came back pregnant, and probably even since before because they had their little moments. Like he kept on arresting her, and if that's not meet cute on a soap opera, I don't know what else would be.
Didn't she smack him one time when he was arresting her?
She accidentally hit him.
Yeah,
like she was gonna hit Lulu or something, and Lulu moved out of the way, and she wound up slapping Chase, which is why the first time he took her in.
Yep, that's why you arrested her for assaulting a police officer.
For putting your hands on a police officer, blah, blah, blah. And then you arrested her like 2 or 3 times, and the whole Valentine thing, she disappeared pregnant and got her throat slashed as a different actress. And it's like when they did Breonna Lane as Brooklyn, they kind of put the Chase thing on hold to a degree. Mm-hmm. And then heated it back up when Amanda Setton came back.
And put him back with Willow for a minute.
Yeah. They were doing that Willow thing. And it just look at this chat. It's just exploding with how much they love Chase in Brooklyn. Now here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. And because I haven't been a soap opera analyzer for long, it's only been a couple of years since I've been sitting here doing this podcast, pretending like I know what I'm talking about. Like really, this is just me speaking without any thought. I promise you, I did not put any thought into this ahead of time.
No,
I just love how low effort our podcast is.
Dude, if we were scripted, we'd be better, right?
No,
oh, please.
No, we wouldn't. It'd be like, did you like things this week, Mom? I did like things this week. Anyway.
Yeah, well, we don't. Well, yeah.
I guess. What I was trying to say, but that's fine. I love it. I love Chase and Brooklyn. They're good people together. It's a good
I like
time.
them too.
Oh, I remember now. So we got all this excitement over Spencer and Trina. We got the excitement over Brooklyn and Chase, and this is the coming together. People are really enjoying these coming togethers. But what happens when they are together? Do people still like it?
Depends on what they're doing.
Or is there is there a good chance that people are like, that was great until they got together and now I don't care?
Well, that's why people never stay together.
Yeah.
Is because once you're together and everything's hunky-dory, it becomes boring.
Yeah.
You got to have a throuple. You got to have a triangle. You got to have some kind of something going on in one of their lives. You got to have an illness. You got to have something.
Yeah, like gosh, like okay, so Chase and Brooklyn come together. What's the first drama that they have to do? Jacarius also likes Jason. Oh my gosh, this is a match made in heaven. So what's the first problem that they run into? Is it trying to fit in with the Quartermains? Is it he's back on the job and it's dangerous? Is it they want to have a baby and can't?
Oh, you know what? I also noticed this week, and and I'm sure everybody else did too. We hadn't seen Brooklyn in a little while because she went to go see her mom. She went to Lois's house, right?
Yeah.
She came back without a blazer on, you guys.
Also, the chat has mentioned Brooklyn is finally out of those damn blazers.
Yeah, she didn't have a blazer on. Yeah. It was the first thing I noticed. There's like,
come on. Okay, Amanda Seton is not as young as she looks, and she had a baby. Sometimes it takes some time, okay? Sometimes it just takes some time to put everything back to where it belongs.
Yeah. Exactly. It sure does. I remember soon after I had your brother, somebody asked me, and he was about 6 or 7 weeks old. Someone asked me when my baby was due. I wanted to just slap them with a bottle, I tell you.
You were just like, it's right here. There's my baby in the stroller.
I wanted to just take my formula. I wasn't a breastfeeding mama. So I wanted to take that little cup you have in your formula and stick it up their nose.
Lovelissa says that Brooklyn is sassy enough that the chemistry is going to stay because they'll just have a kind of an antagonistic but loving dynamic, which it stays interesting. The Bickersons.
Well, you know what? That would be very reminiscent to Ned and Lois.
Yeah.
Because it was like that with the two of them.
Just the Bickersons. I love the name the Bickersons. I don't know. I don't remember where I picked that up, but I want to be a Bickerson one day.
Brooklyn does remind me of Lois.
Yeah. Well, wasn't Lois and Olivia friends back in Bensonhurst?
Yes, but that's something that was not divulged back then. There was no falconaries hanging around back then that we really saw.
Right.
They didn't refer to very much until Kate and Olivia came to town. But there wasn't a lot of reference to back then. No. But when Lois was on the show, her best friend was Brenda. And they had a business together.
Oh. So how is Brenda going to fit into this thing? Because Brenda's got to fit somewhere, right?
I don't know.
Is Brenda going to show up at some point and like buy out the Invader and then become the editor-in-chief?
Well, she has shown up a couple of times.
She showed up
over the years.
Yeah, she disappeared. Yeah. Like Brenda's real Sonny's number one. You know how Jason was Carly's number one? Brenda was really Sonny's.
Well, Brenda used to jump back and forth from Sonny to Jax quite a bit, just as much as Carly jumped back and forth. They used to jump back and
brown-haired Carly.
Yeah. Yeah.
The bariatric bachelor hopes Brenda stays gone. And then Chase and Brooklyn, they're agreeing. Christy agrees that Chase and Brooklyn is mirroring Ned and Olivia. GH is setting them up as the next super couple. Maybe. I do think that they're pretty good. And if they didn't believe in that pairing, they wouldn't have given them that nice montage.
That's true. That montage was just for us fans to make us even love them more.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was. I liked it.
Yeah. Here's one. So I was talking about what happens when a couple comes together. Is it still as interesting? And somebody goes, people really aren't into Sonny and Nina as much as they used to be.
No.
I don't know.
Not as much as they used to be. Not as much.
I don't know. I don't know what to feel about this anymore because I was very team Nina for the longest time, and now recently I just feel less passionate. I feel less passionate about it. I guess
I got to the,
I'm not mad at her. I think I'm at the point where the story just doesn't make as much sense anymore as it had been before. Because now we obviously are just being like, well, what if Carly just takes Gladys to Sunny's house and sees Nina there? Like, where's the logic here, folks? Why did Carly take Gladys to go see Sunny to talk about Brando and Sasha potentially getting eloped? Like, this was just a way to get Carly and Nina and Sunny in the same room together again. However, I will say that this time around, it was different because they were working together to stop Gladys from interfering with the elopement.
Right. I thought that wedding wasn't going to happen. It did actually finish.
And it finished in a cute way. It's like they kept on getting forced into it without their really wanting to. It's like Sasha's coming off of her high, right? And she's starting to think, well, maybe this isn't a good idea, but she doesn't want to say, I don't think this is a good idea because it was her idea to start with. So she started asking Chase, well, do you want to get out of it? Well, maybe we shouldn't. Do you think that maybe we should do something else? And then he's like, no. And then he's doing the same thing. Brando, yeah. And then he's doing the same thing where he's like, well, I mean, do you want to wait? She's like, no. They both clearly don't want to do this. And then finally they're put into like this very fateful situation where they're in the auto shop together, and it
was kind of reminiscent. Yeah, exactly. Noodle voodoo, same kind of thing. But but back then when Sam and Jason really wanted to get married, and it seemed, I think you're right. I think they were like Sasha was kind of coming down a little bit, and he was kind of questioning, and I think so. I think Brando's going to realize that she's using again pretty quick.
I think so too, especially since they're married now and stuff. But I did think it was interesting that Nina, Sunny, and Carly made such a good team together.
I know.
Like they were able to get Gladys to step down, and Gladys does not step down easily.
No, but she's always listened to Sunny. She's always been a little intimidated and a little scared of her cousin.
Yeah, that's true. Even though she was blackmailing him for money for a minute.
Yeah. But she's always been a little scared of him. A little bit. Always knows where that line is.
Yeah.
Gladys always knows where that line is with Sunny, cousin Sunny.
That's fair. The chat is split between their opinions when it comes to Brenda. Some people loved it, some people didn't like it.
There's a lot of people that loved Brenda on the show. There's a lot of people that's like, whatever.
I remember Brenda. She was a big deal in the 90s, Vanessa Marcel. So I didn't watch. See, I read your soap opera digest a lot. Is what I did. That's what I did.
Oh yeah, I did used to get that in the mail, didn't I? Back in the day,
you did.
Back in the 90s,
goings and all that kind of stuff. I saw every time that Dixie came and went from Port Charles, Pigeon Valley, Pigeon Forge, wherever it is. Pigeon Hollow. Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Oh man. But yeah, interesting trio. And I go, what if Sunny, Carly, and Nina like just say screw it and just like are together, the three of them,
like sister wives?
Yeah, why not?
I'll just be with the both of you.
I might puke, but okay.
Let's see. Lissa's contribution here. Lissa with lots of contributions to the show. Did you know that you can contribute just as much as Love Lissa does if you join us in the chat and make such a big deal like she does out of her opinion? So just scream at us and we're going to read it. Please don't scream at us. Please don't scream at us.
No, we're not a fan of screaming.
Every single conversation Nina has with anybody dissolves into a narcissism session. She pretends to want to ask people about their issues, but always turns the conversation into herself. Yes, maybe. But don't people also be like, what are you doing? Hey,
Lisa, I love that.
Hey.
Nina is garbage.
Nina, no fan of Nina. Is my mom?
Well, I have defended her a couple of times, though. I had to say something good about her last week. Remember?
Love Lissa, you're absolutely right with the location that I read that Soap Opera Digest the most. Goodness. You know what, Irma? We're going to talk about. Hey, Irma, we're going to continue to talk about Sasha and Brando right now. They're cool. They're not going to have any more babies. Not for a little while. I think Sasha might be like, let's have another Liam. And Brando will be like, I think something's going wrong. We need to talk about this. You seem to be a little off base. This could be the beginning of the end of Sasha. I don't know. I'm not saying that she's gonna die, but she might flame out so hard she needs to leave Port Charles. I mean, listen, this is a big story, and unless they got something big after it, this is a character burner.
I agree.
You know,
kind of is, huh?
Like they would have to have something like she gets over it and then gets involved with like something major, you know, like this isn't something that you can end and then be like, oh, we're going to give Sasha a break for 6 months and then bring her back to be somebody's new girlfriend. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or they could just stop using her and not explain it. They've done that to the people.
Yeah, where she goes to rehab and then she's just done. Never comes back again.
But she hasn't really left, but she's just didn't have story. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't. It really depends on what's going on. I think that Sasha and Brando are the best things that has happened to each other's character in the last couple of years. The best thing that's happened to Brando's character, for sure. And, you know, Sasha's been around for a while and has been involved with Nina and with Michael, and she's had significant parts of significant stories. But I don't think she's ever really, like, floated up past the middle, so to speak.
I think her and Willow are kind of experiencing the same thing in that way.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I mean, but at least Sasha's got something. She's got the something, you know? The something.
Yeah.
At least it's that something right now.
And you know, and her, it was interesting too that I found that she went back to using dope. But she's doing a different kind of dope.
Yeah, she's doing pills this time rather than the snorty stuff. So
she's
I don't
using
know.
some kind of speed or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Pill form methamphetamine? I don't know.
I mean, a long-term addiction storyline, Loveless says. I mean, that would be good. We can get a year, you know, of her hiding it. You know, maybe we'll get 6 to 8 months of her hiding it and just slowly getting more and more crazed. Because when they gave her the drug storyline to begin with, she was immediately dark circled, like picking at her face tweaker, like immediately.
Yeah, and well, maybe they'll give her some more story if Cyrus comes back to town.
That would be wonderful. Honestly, I would love to see that, where Cyrus comes in and goes, so you're still doing drugs, and it's my fault, and now that I've found the light of the Lord, I'm going to help you. Like, I really cannot wait for overly religious Cyrus. Like, honestly, I can't.
I think if he comes back overly religious, he's going to be a faker.
Well, yeah, but he's going to have to do something in order to not seem like a faker, because that was his whole thing the whole time, was doing stuff and pretending to not be a faker.
And I want Marty to come back and laugh in his face.
Like Laura laughed in his face.
Yeah. Laura did laugh in his face at the jailhouse.
And she sure did. Like it's a gif now. Like people share it on Twitter all the time now when they're laughing at something somebody's saying about General Hospital. Oh man! Oh, what good times! Oh,
Cyrus got to come back. I mean, there was no point in having Laura come visit him and have him go down that road of I found the Lord, now I'm redeemed, and all that.
Give it time.
I hope so.
I mean, the canvas is full right now with story. Okay, we got Victor right now doing stuff. We got Esme doing stuff. Ryan has woken up, so to speak. You know, we got Jake things happening. We got Thin Lizzy. We got Austin, Maxie, who love each other for some unknown background reason or something. I don't get it. You know. Maxie can't be alone, I guess. I don't know what it is.
They don't leave. Maxie is kind of the same with Elizabeth. They just never, ever leave her alone. But at the same time, though, you think about it, they don't leave people single long. Anybody.
Really? I guess. I don't know. Who's single right now? Spinelli's single.
Poor old Spinelli.
Yeah, Spinelli's single. Brad is single. Lucas is still in town somewhere.
Yeah. He is, isn't he? They have said that.
Yeah,
he is. He didn't move away again.
He's just not on screen.
He's just not on screen.
Yeah, knew Lucas wasn't good.
Brad's afraid to go talk to him.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't.
Brad's afraid of everything.
Wouldn't you be?
I mean,
Brad could be anywhere.
He's always been afraid of everything, though.
What's going on?
Yeah. What are you?
Where are Maxie's other kids with Spinelli? With Spinelli. That's where Max's other kids are. With Spinelli, or well, now that she's home.
Felicia said that.
Yeah.
And Felicia said that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
That Spinelli had Georgie and James.
Jordan is single. You're right, but she's not standing up. She's not standing up for anything anymore. She's not gonna take nothing lying down no more. Okay, Sonny. If I see you doing some crap, you know what, Sonny? I'm gonna be there, Sonny. Sonny, you're gonna break the law, Sonny. I'm gonna be right there, Sonny. Yeah, that's that mob thing heating up like they were talking about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If they go Sonny all the way mobster again, are they gonna shave his beard and dye his hair black? Are they gonna do that?
And it depends on what he wants to do. I don't know. I mean, if he's not going to be Mike anymore.
Is Carly single? Is she really single? Carly's never single. All right. Carly is married to Carly. Carly is in love with Carly. All right. Carly's never single because she's got herself. Is that wrong?
Yeah.
Is that wrong? Is that crazy?
Actually, I find it not wrong at all. If I wouldn't marry your dad, that's exactly what I would be. Marry my damn self. Yes.
Married to myself. Portia. Ooh, yeah, laid down Portia, but Jordan is still technically married to Curtis. Hey, there we go. Thank you very much, Irma. I like how when I don't know what to say on the podcast, I can just read the chat and then they just tell me what to say, and it's good. It's good.
It is good.
It is good.
It is good. Yeah. Well, and remember, and Cameron brought that up to Stella about, I'm sorry about the letter.
I'm so sorry. What's your envelope? And she's like, kid, this was a year ago. Relax. It's just a piece of mail.
Mm-hmm. But it made her think, what was it?
What was it?
What
was in that?
Oh, she's going to remember. She's going to remember. She's going to remember. Stella is what she dislikes about other people.
Just
she hides things and she's not necessarily honest.
She hid one thing and forgot about it. She's not actively hiding it.
Oh, no, she's hiding things about Marshall too.
Well, maybe she's hiding things for the better, Like it's just better to not know. It's just better to not know that your father helped the Oklahoma City bomber. You don't need to know that, okay? You don't need to know
that I'm actually your mother, and the reason why my sister went kooky is because I'm your mother.
Can we please have Curtis's mom be Curtis's mom? All right. I beg of you. General Hospital. Let us have Curtis's mom actually be Curtis's mom. We don't need every Ashford member to have parents that didn't raise them and they found out later.
I know.
We don't need that from Curtis and from TJ and from Trina and from Sean and from Thomas and from.
Well,
Stella is single.
I don't, I've never been a big Stella fan because I think she's been so judgy
I know
and meddles so much, and she's so judgy.
Yeah. And
then to find out recently, we can add hypocrite to that. Go Stella.
Hey, I don't know where Trevor St. John is, okay? Stop asking me. I don't know. I didn't write it. I didn't cast him. I don't know. All right? He's going to show up eventually.
Maybe if we have a chance, if we meet Frank next week, we'll ask him.
Yeah, we'll be like, hey, Frank Valentini, I know you listen. I want to know. Where's Trevor St. John? A new doctor is headed to GH? I don't know. Probably. Did they say that? Is there a preview for a new doctor coming to GH? I don't know.
Speaking of previews, Matthew, speaking of previews, I will never see previews again.
Oh, yeah, because you got rid of regular TV like a fool.
I had to.
Now we're going to have to put profiles on the Hulu so I can keep track of what I've been watching.
Yeah. I can't watch it as directly as I get home from work any longer either.
That's okay. Now you get complete control over it and you don't have to skip any buttons. Stella is a likable Robin. I thought Robin is a likable Robin.
Well, Robin was judgy too. In a different way.
Esme is a grown woman and not a teen like he claims. You know what? Here's the thing, folks. Here's the thing. Maybe they're doing some sort of orphan storyline. When Orphan's a horror movie in which this little 9-year-old was actually like a 23-year-old murderer. but she had a disease that kept her young looking. Anyway, it's called movie called Orphan. So now if they're doing something with Esme where she's actually 28 but looks 19 and is just pretending to be 19, all right, that's interesting and weird. I'll take that. But I want to point out, Cameron, Jocelyn, Trina, Esme, and Spencer are not kids anymore. I understand.
No, they're young adults.
I get that they're only 18, 19, and I understand that those ages still end in teen. But once you are out of high school, you are not a teenager any longer.
No.
You are a grown person expected to contribute to society in some way.
Yeah. If you're a freshman in college and you're 18 years old and you're not doing well, no one's going to call your mama and tell them, hey, Johnny needs to turn in his assignment because you're an adult now.
If you can move out and live in the dormitory, you're an adult. You are not a teen anymore. So there is no teen scene on GH right now. There's young adulthood. There is, and not like the YA young adult being like 15-year-olds, like the book section at Barnes and Nobles would suggest.
No, the teen scene right now is Jake.
Seriously. Yeah.
That's it.
So, we just need that voice to continue to deepen and get a little more steady. And then, hey, give Jake a girlfriend or something. Let's just keep going with the teenagers. But yeah, I would relate it to, we've said it a number of times on the podcast. It's Nicholas and Liz and Lucky and all of them from the mid-90s.
Yes. So do you think Esme, I got the impression from her crazy ass maybe daddy that
maybe daddy,
I got the impression that he wants her to go put her eyes on Nicholas now and try to seduce him.
Like father, like son.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, and then obviously she marched right over to the Metro Court and was just like, oh, Ava and Nicholas, you guys are just so cute together. And you know what surprised me? Is Ava wasn't immediately, and now what are you doing here, little girl? Your attitudes changed so quickly. Remember, you lit my car on fire. Get out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised that didn't happen, but she's also trying to play the game too because Laura asked her to, play nice, let's see what's going on with the world. So maybe that has something to do with it.
That's a good plan. That's a good plan.
I mean, yeah, maybe that
Ava
has something
to have her ears open and her mouth closed. It's a good idea.
Like Mr. Roland Alexander always told me growing up in the world of professional wrestling, keep your mouth open or your mouth closed, your ears open, and absorb like a sponge. So, hey, that's what we're doing. Cool, awesome. What the heck? What the heck is going on in the Cassadine family, though?
Do you think she's going to have to nail drug him like Nell did with Sonny? Do you think she's going to have to do something like that
No,
to get herself a little Nicholas going on?
I think like father, like son. I think that she's been very successful at pulling the attention, keeping the focus of Spencer. That she might just be able to do the same thing with Nicholas. Because you know what? Whether or not you love Tyler Christopher in the role, Marcus Coloma is a completely different Nicholas Cassadine who's going to make completely different decisions as his predecessors have.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's entirely possible that she might just be successful on her wiles alone.
She might.
But that's not the affair direction that I thought things would be going in. I thought she was going to try to hook herself a little Cameron.
Yeah, it doesn't look that way, huh?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
That's not what her mentor, maybe Daddy, is telling her to do. And she wants to please him. That's what we saw mostly with the interaction. Is she desperately wants to please him.
Yes, she does. She absolutely does.
Her Ryan's opinion of Esme matters a lot.
It's because she worships him so much.
It got the impression too that she's been speaking to him. He's been speaking to her.
Well, he was writing letters, right? And Harmony wasn't sure where they were going, so it's entirely possible he was sending them to her.
But I think while she's been at Spring Ridge, being a nurse, sort of like, and then, well, kind of like internship kind of thing, right?
Yeah, she's an intern.
Yeah, that's what Esme is doing. So I got the impression that she's been actually speaking to him, and he's been speaking back for some time, but just not on screen.
Maybe I don't know.
Because remember when Kevin said that she couldn't go visit him anymore and see him anymore?
Yeah.
So I think he's been speaking to her for a little while off screen.
I think that's entirely possible.
And speaking to her the other day in the common area was the first time that's happened.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the chat back into it going, this daddy stuff is weird, this daddy stuff is creepy. The way that she said, "Daddy, you like it when I call you daddy, right?" And it just it's awkward and it's very weird and it's creepily sexually and it's awkward and strange and the thing about it is this cannot be a misinterpretation of the script on these actors' parts. This was intentional in some way to bring this question, to have this conversation amongst the fandom as to what the hell is going on between these two characters and what their real relationship is.
Yeah.
So, I am team not actual family. I am team just crazy people who want to pretend to be family. You like it when I call you that, don't you? Be careful what you wish for. Like...
And he did refer to her as daughter, but they're both crazy as a loon, though.
Right, and he was like, and then he was like, touched her face and was like, "My beautiful daughter," but like that doesn't necessarily mean biological daughter. It just could be feeding into the fantasy that Esme has created in her own brain, where he's just like, "Do this for me, my daughter. Break up Ava and Nicholas, my daughter, and then you will really be my daughter because we can live together as daughter and daddy." You know, it's just oof.
Yeah,
Alyssa, that's exactly right. Like she wants him to be her daddy, but he really isn't. And and he may just be using her by pretending to adopt her. Like, I really think that she's one of those people that pulled up a podcast because they talked about it when Ryan resurfaced. They talked about how he was getting a lot of media coverage, a lot of press coverage, a lot of, this, that, and the other thing. And they wanted to interview Felicia to get her first person perspective on the Ryan Chamberlain disaster from 20 years ago and blah, blah, blah. So it's entirely possible that 3 years ago, young, impressionable Esme, who just killed her adoptive parents, came across the real true crime story of Ryan Chamberlain on their podcasting app.
And there's a lot of those out there.
There's a lot of them. and really fell for the story. I think that is a compelling way to take things that isn't icky gross.
And started writing them letters.
Yeah. And he started responding and this, that, the other thing.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. That makes more sense than him really being her dad. Especially
since he's been locked up in secret at Ferncliff for 20 years. Like, no, unless it was Heather Weber or some rando nurse, who could possibly even be Esme's mom?
I heard something, a little rumbling that it was Felicia. Somehow, I just don't see how that could be, though.
Unless, did she had a digital memory transfer? How did she forget?
Right?
I think it's way easier for a dude to have a kid they don't know about than a woman to have a kid they don't know about. Way easier.
Yeah, Erica Kane had two.
Well, I mean, it's also still a soap opera, so there's always ways around it. But it's like there was this old movie in the 90s with Tim Allen called Jungle to Jungle, where he had a kid with this like anthropologist and didn't know because he's the dude, right? Mm-hmm. And then she calls him on the phone saying, "Hey, your kid's 12 now." And he's like, "What do you mean we got a kid?" And
I remember that movie.
Yeah, and they were kind of arguing about the well, am I really the father? Are you really the mother? And then and then she replies to him, "I'm pretty sure I know that I'm the mother because unlike you, I have to be in the room when I have it."
Yeah.
Good times.
I do remember that movie.
I have to be in the room when I have it. Oh goodness.
Yeah, but it'll be fun to watch all that. It'll be fun to watch all that because I love a crazy person on a soap opera.
Wait a minute.
The more crazies we have, the better off I am. I like it.
Yeah. Hey, so Ryan and Kevin, aren't they patients 1 and 2?
Yes.
So could Kevin potentially be Esme's dad?
Yes.
Did we ever find out what memory was swapped between the two of them?
No.
Because it was Kevin and Ryan were patients 1 and 2, right? Like they made all of the twins on the show patients 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Either it was Kevin and Ryan are patient 1 and 2, or Anna and Alex are patient 1 and 2.
And then Ryan and Kevin were 3 and 4, or one or the other. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us if we're wrong, chat, please, because I remember distinctly that they made all of the twins on the show a part of this memory swap story.
Yeah, there was Alex and Anna. There was Ryan and Kevin. There was Jason and Drew.
Yeah, and then that was it. Patients 1 through 6. Because Peter, the first way Peter got out of trouble is because he told, I think it was Robert or somebody at the time, because I know the secrets about patients 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that's exactly how he said it.
That is how he said it. That is how he said it.
2, 3, 4, and 5.
And isn't it? I hope this is not true, because I don't mind it being true in a couple of years, but it's too soon for them to give Wes a new character.
2, 3 years. 4 or 5 years. He comes back with Nell. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't want it to happen like real soon.
No. Not
I
a
saw
Rojo.
some rumbling.
I
saw some rumbling that maybe Wes Ramsey was going to be given a new character soon. But I could see General Hospital doing that because, Roger and Michael have been multiple people.
They have.
With the same face.
They sure have.
So it wouldn't be Well, I don't know. General Hospital, you better just
slow it down a little, though. We've been doing that a number of times.
Put Wes.
At a certain point, we're just turning this thing into an American Horror Story where they're just going to play a different character every year.
Exactly. Exactly. But the story never ends.
It just goes on and on, my friend. A lot like this podcast. It's been going on for an hour and a half.
I know.
Isn't it great? We just have so much to say about General Hospital each and every week.
We got a whole lot to say and a whole lot of nothing, huh?
I mean, we filter in, fun personal conversation about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You tell stories about your dad beating the tar out of the neighbor. I mean, it's just, it's good times. It's
true story.
But, our shift here at the hospital has come to an end, though. We've got families to go feed and things to do and movies to watch and games to play and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I got family dinner today at 5:30. The only one missing is you. But that's okay. You moved away.
Family?
Yeah.
My brother?
Your brother?
My sister-in-law?
Yeah.
My sister?
Yeah.
My brother-in-law?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well,
and
my grandma?
Your nieces and your nephew and your grandmother, yes.
Oh my gosh. Just got to invite Papa Will. That's the whole thing.
I just saw Papa Will yesterday.
I got to get Papa Will some Star Trek Discovery DVDs. That's what I got to do. Remind me to do that. And now that it's recorded on for everybody to know, I have to now. Because next week the chat's going to be like, did you get your grandfather the DVDs for Star Trek? And then I'm going to have to be honest and either say yes or no. So now I have to.
Well, the easiest way for that is for you to give them to me next weekend.
Or I can just Amazon deliver them to us. We'll figure it out.
You could do it either way.
It's just because he wants to watch it. He's an old guy. He's an old guy. He got no money. Anyway, that has nothing to do with General Hospital. I'm just trying to be nice to my grandparents. So I'm going to go into the elevator, go back down to the first floor. We're going to go out of this hospital, into the parking garage, get into our cars, tune our radios to old episodes of the 10th Floor podcast, and we're going to go spend some time with our families. I have been Matt.
I have been Kat.
And we got to go out because Lovelissa just told us there's been a bombing at the sinking river boat. Oh my gosh. The floating rib has broken.
Again?
No, I don't know. Lovelissa just wants an encore. She wants us to keep going. Not this time, though. But next week, we're probably... I don't know what's going to happen next week, folks, because we're going to be in the same town together for an entire weekend at a General Hospital convention. So you might get a bunch of little 5-minute videos. You might get a bunch of half-hour videos. You might get absolutely nothing until 11 a.m. on Sunday. I have no freaking clue what we're going to bring you.
Well, it's probably not. But one thing, Matt, it's not going to be at 11 a.m. on Sunday.
Oh, what are we doing on Sunday?
Well, the con is still happening.
What are we doing?
Meeting people. I don't know.
We're going to find out, but we're going to get on there. We're going to get in their cars. We're going to go spend some time with our families. Check us out. Like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Everybody's leaving us already. Goodbye. But like, subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at 10th Floor GH. All that kind of stuff. I've been Matt.
Do it all. I've been Kat.
And we'll catch you right here next time on the 10th Floor.
Bye, guys.